and welcome to Montrose Matters Live. I am so excited to have this young lady in the studio today. We're going to talk to Kirstin Copeland here in just a minute, but guess what? We have so many events that are coming up in Montrose this fall. And I mean, from full concerts to the Montrose Farmers Market that has live music and some fundraisers. So take a look at these slides and just start putting things on your calendar for all the upcoming events. But before you call it an afternoon, I need you to also be ready to congratulate Tim's Auto Glass. Tim's Auto Glass is being named Tonya's Faves and Raves this week. Congratulations, Tim's, and take a look at this and we'll be right back. Hey everyone, congratulations to Tim's Auto Glass for being named this week's Tonya's Faves and Raves. Tim's Auto Glass has been proudly serving Colorado's Western Slope for over 10 years. As a family-owned business, they value our communities and treat customers like friends. Their commitment to quality service and customer satisfaction is unmatched. Whether you need a quick windshield repair or a complete replacement, they've got you covered. Plus, they offer side and rear window replacements for when you need them most, and headlight restoration to improve visibility on the road. Congratulations to Tim's Auto Glass for being named this week's Tonya's Faves and Raves. Wow. Okay. Welcome back. We've got Kirstin Copeland in the studios. And you know what? I have to say, it's been a couple of years since I've seen you. I'm loving this fresh haircut and just you're glowing. Could you be excited about some news?
Well, I am excited because I found out that I did receive enough signatures to be on the November ballot for a replacement candidate for the county commissioner's position for District 1.
Wow. So you are entering the realm of politics.
Yes.
But, you know, I could say this because, like I said, it's been years since we've seen each other, but I do know in, the very first or the second Women of Distinction, you were one of the honorees.
Yeah, that was such a great experience. And when I saw the company I was in, it even elevated it even more when I looked at the women who are in the community that are making such a big difference. And that was a fun experience and a very meaningful one as well. So.
Well, you know what, that just shows the caliber of the people that you run with. And, you know, to even be nominated back then and even now, I believe our first or second year of nominations, we got like several hundred. And to dwindle that down to 20 honorees, and you were one of them, it was a joy for me because I was new to Montrose at the time, and I just got to learn about all of these fantastic women and all the great things you were doing. So tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? What do why do you care about this community, and why should people vote for you?
I am a Colorado native, so I'm invested in the state because I've lived here my whole life. And I moved to Montrose almost 30 years ago. I moved here in January of '99, and I started my position down at Ridgeway State Park as a park ranger, and ended up finding not only the passion of my life professionally, but also the passion of my life for a hometown and a place to be. I met my husband here, I raised my kids here, and Montrose embodies, and Montrose County embodies so much of what we value about our lifestyle, our quality of life, things that are important to us every day.
So, you know, I have to back up because I'm a city girl, okay? And I've lived here for almost 10 years. You were a park ranger.
Yes, yeah, that was my career. Can you believe it?
No.
They paid me to do that.
Was that the most fun
job? I'm amazed that, you know, there aren't people beating down the doors. It was absolutely such a perfect fit for me. It was the diversity, but also the opportunities to really make a difference. We worked with people a lot. I think there's oftentimes a misperception that park rangers are managing trees and plants.
Right.
But actually what we're working with every day is people who are out on the outdoor landscape. And so what I became passionate about was how people interact with outdoors and recreation, and how we can create great experiences for them and also inspire them to care for the resources that they're doing all those things on. So it was a perfect job. You get to be on boats, four-wheelers, snowmobiles, you get to, you know, help people in a campground, you get to, part of my job was being a peace officer as well as an EMT. So we also helped people through some of the most challenging or critical incidents that they encounter.
Okay.
And so I learned a lot of, and I had done a little bit before becoming a ranger. I'd worked for some police departments, but it was really impactful to me that when people are in a car crash or they have a medical emergency or there's unfortunately a crime that may occur, we can go in and we can help solve that and make a difference. So it was everything, that I could have asked for in terms of good challenge, but also opportunities to contribute and have a great time.
So, when I think about working for the Colorado Parks and Wildlife and working for the state, I mean, you must have encountered so many different people at different levels, whether it was at the state level and local level.
Absolutely. Ridgway State Park is a destination park. People come from very far away because it's so highly regarded, and the location itself is phenomenal. When it was developed, it was done so well, but we're also at the base of the San Juan Mountains. So you cannot beat that for a destination for people to want to get close to. And then our local folks that live in Ouray, Ridgway, and Montrose, and even Delta, they would be absolutely part of our regular customer base, and they valued the park so much. They were so helpful in keeping it the great place that it was. So it really was, as you said, kind of this national as well as local resource for everyone.
I love that. I personally think about folks who call Colorado home, and again, I've only been here for a little less than 10 years. You think about, gosh, how do you create a lifestyle for yourself, for your family, and give back to your community? And you found that, you and your husband both found that, is my understanding.
Absolutely. That's kind of the whole pivot of our family is public service and contribution. And when we met, I think that was one thing that we connected on so strongly is he, as a state trooper, was passionate about the difference he could make doing that job. And I was equally passionate about being a state parks officer. And so throughout our career, there were so many overlaps. We, did arrest control practice together. We both, spent a lot of time on the range. We also worked through critical incidents. We each had significant events that happened during our work that were, challenging and stressful, but having that to relate on was really important. And, we have a son who's in the military, who's a Marine. We have a daughter who is in a medical track in college. And then our older boys are both working in skilled trades. And, all of those things to me relate back to being a part of the community and giving back. So
that is, I think you and I agree on that. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else other than the western slope of Colorado. It is not only the beauty that we have here, but the people and the way of life. And it has just been an honor for me. And it sounds like it's been that way for you as well. So now you see yourself jumping into the political arena, and I say jumping, you're probably pushed. I don't know, you tell me. How did we get here?
That wasn't something I was seeking, and I guess I still see it as community service is how I'm viewing it. My focus is on the community that has been so good to me and my family, and when brought this proposition of would you be interested and willing to, it was a fairly easy yes, because it's a given that if I have an opportunity to give back or be a part of the community in leadership, then that's something I would do very easily.
Gotcha. Okay. So, this is not going to be easy at all. And my understanding is that, what we're trying to do, or what you are trying to do, is help get the county on a different track. Is that your understanding?
The way I see it is that when I was approached about this, a lot of the folks that approached me know my background and know my strengths. Mm-hmm. And my strengths in a leadership capacity are around effective leadership with great teams, collaboration across the board, and having created a very stable and positive environment for folks to deliver the mission that we were given. And so that is one of the main things that I can bring to it. And so I think, rather than see it as necessarily as opposed to or contrast to more, here's what I am good at, and I am good at leading very talented, passionate people to get a mission done. And the mission of the county success is just so important. And there's a lot of people on board already who are doing that and want to do that.
You know, I have to stop you and thank you right there for saying that the mission of the county and the people in the county is important and the most important because you corrected me. This goes, I'm with you. It's outside of politics. It's outside of who we like, who we don't like, what our team is, all of those things. And I do want to talk about that in a second because my understanding is you're unaffiliated. So it's not, it's personal for you, but not personal against any one person. You just want to dive in and help this community. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You
No,
let
that's
me
exactly
know.
it. That's correct. That's exactly it. Is anything I can do to have a positive impact on the community, and based on my background, leadership, fiscal responsibility, team building, and collaboration, those are things that I already have had good success with, and that if I can bring those forward in this role, then I am 100% motivated that way.
Love that. I'm Shangri-La. Totally. I believe this community is like the best. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but I want you to start thinking about the opposition that's going to come against you and how you want to deal with that. We'll be right back.
Grab life by the horns. Reimagined and evolved for today, Ram Hurricane delivers more power, more torque, and better fuel economy than the legendary Hemi engine. Come on down to Flower Motor Company and see why this outstanding truck is proven to be the new workhorse for 1500. See me, Jesus, at Flower Motor Company, 970-249-9664.
Fall has officially arrived, and nothing says autumn quite like the burst of color from Mums. These hardy beauties bring instant coziness to porches, patios, and entryways. From deep burgundy and sunny yellow to rustic orange and crisp white, Mums are the season's signature bloom. Pair them with pumpkins, hay bales, your favorite fall decor, and you've got yourself a front porch that screams sweater weather. So don't just rake in the leaves, rake in the compliments too. Add Mums to your fall lineup and watch your home come alive with autumn magic.
But we're back at Montrose Matters Live, and we're talking to Kirstin Copeland, and I'm just, I'm in awe of this entire process of being a replacement candidate and just the recall for Montrose County Commissioner and how it all works here in the state of Colorado. So I want you to do two things for me and just take a minute to think about these. So my first question is, even though we're in Shangri-La, the political arena is the political arena. I'd love to tell you that people are going to be nice all the time, or kind, and not be personal, but I have seen that not to be true. Are you ready for that? Can you handle that? Or, is that a concern for you?
I think that is a question that I've gotten a lot along the way. And I think what has worked for me over the span of a lot of things is that I go back and focus on what I know to be true and successful for me. And that is to focus on what I can bring to this. And that for me is going to be the focal point. I don't think it has value to be in opposition or contrast to anything, but to focus on what I can bring. And if that is of value and that can be beneficial for the county, then people know I'm 100% in. In fact, I've been noted for being 100+% in on anything that I commit to. And so that's what level I will bring to it. And my focus and my, whole pointing position is going to be the success of the county and the people in it, both the residents, of course, but also the people who come here and visit and spend valuable dollars with our local businesses and contribute to a lot of other things. So that is where my emphasis is going to be, and I'm going to do everything I can to bring it back to that, regardless of what is kind of put out there.
Gotcha. So, when I think about these next steps, I also think about how we got here. And there are folks who, at the end of the day, didn't want to be here. They, they want a voting people in this county want a county government that works. And I think inherently the fact that we are here in this place isn't what the majority of folks wanted. With that said, what you have to do now is speak to people who are registered voters that line up in many different silos, probably at least 3 different ones. Tell me about why because of that, and what can people expect even if they don't consider themselves a part of the same party affiliation that you are.
Well, I think unaffiliated is exactly that. I have traditionally looked at candidates and different kinds of propositions and legislative actions on their own merits and kind of individually. And I have voted on both sides of party aisles. And so for me, the emphasis of the success of the county and the people here is nonpartisan. It really is about safety, economy, having a vibrant community that people feel like they can have success in, both personally and professionally. And so that to me is a thing that all of us can get behind. And so the party side of it to me is not relevant to that focal point. I also feel like I understand that this community has a very rural, agricultural, traditional base that they value very highly, and I get that. And I have lived here and raised my kids here, and I see a lot of value in the way that this community is. And so to me, it's pulling together the best of all of those things for the, the betterment of the community as a whole.
Kirstin, okay. You might need a second to help me, but you are a better person than I will ever be, because I grew up in Texas, okay? And let me just tell you, when you grow up in Texas, other than having the big hair, it's your team. I mean, everything is about your team. And if you are a conservative, everything has to be a conservative. If you are a football fan, guess what? It's the Cowboys or it's nothing. I mean, it's that. And so as I hear you and I listen to you, and I truly do hear you, in the back of my head, I've got to ask that question. And I know the rest of Montrose is also wondering this, but you're not a Republican, but you're not a Democrat, but you're not a conservative, but you're not a liberal. Like, what do we hold on to? Can you speak to that, or is that way too much to throw at you?
I think to me, what I can demonstrate to folks that have that kind of concern or question is to look at my background, both, as a paid professional as well as a volunteer. Mm-hmm. And everything that I've done has had a community focus to it. And it has not needed to be in a camp in order to deliver a great mission of a safe, fun recreation experience, or as a public safety officer, or in my current volunteer positions that I'm in. I think I'm aware probably there's a lot of people in those groups that I've worked with and volunteer with that are very, maybe different in upbringing or maybe different in background. But when we are all focused on the success of the park or the safety of the park, or, in the Friends of Youth and Nature, getting kids outdoors, the posse is public safety as well, that those things do not require us to have to be in one of those camps, and we can do amazing things with those as the focus, as opposed to, before we, make this decision or write this policy, what partisanship do you have? It's really about, what's our point here? Okay, let's do that. And so to me, that has been very successful. And if you look at my experience at the park, and if you talk to folks, I think you'll find that they probably never even had a sense of necessarily where I fell on any political issues, because the park was thriving with all of us focused on that as our mission.
See, Montrose, I told you she was a better person than I could ever be. I aspire to look at the way that you do, and I really appreciate that. What is, What is it that I haven't been smart enough to ask you that you would want the voters to know? One, about this entire process, and two, what are the next steps? How do we move forward?
I have taken the opportunity early on to look through the master plan that was done just last year in 2024 for the county.
Okay.
And there's so many good things in there that talk about what is great in Montrose County and what are the things that are already successful and that we can keep running with. And then what are the challenges or potentially upcoming challenges or threats to what are important to people that the county already has on its radar. And so to me, that is something that I think is important. And when people are thinking about what they care about being in the county and who is going to be leading and being the head of the team that provides a huge variety of services and public contact points that the county provides, that those things have been very well laid out, and there's a lot of people who care that are already engaged at the county level. Okay. And so I think it's really taking a lot of that and moving forward with it for the long-term perspective of the county.
Gotcha. All right. And this is probably the most fun question you're going to get today. Are you looking forward to the fall colors and enjoying that?
The fall is my favorite season. I know probably a park ranger shouldn't pick a season, but I have one. And I love the temperatures. I love the smells. I love the activities. In fact, I just had the opportunity to write an article that's going to go out for one of the volunteer groups I'm on. And I call it the 3 H's of fall. It's harvest, hunting, and Halloween. Oh. Growing up on a farm, we saw and did a lot of those things where people would be taken out of school to help with the harvest or for a big game season. And then we all, even though we lived on farms, would find ways into town and trick or treat. So fall to me is just one of the best times of the year. And, the plug of the article is it's a great time to be outside. Like everything you love to do, you can do outside in the fall, including football and a lot of things that, people in the summer it's just too hot to do. So I am totally looking forward to the fall.
Thank you, Kirstin. I know that you are excited. You have a lot going on. We appreciate the opportunity to let Montrose get to know you and for jumping in where you believe we need help.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.